16-bit hockey fans, got an interview for you. This one is with Darrell, aka Halifax. This is fresh off the King of 94 tournament, the 2026 edition, where AJ cleaned up both on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis side. And Darrell himself, well, he walked away with some hardware when he won the Puke bracket on the Sega Genesis. Nonetheless, I sit down and chat with Darrell about the good, the very good, and the great, because there is no bad, no ugly from this tournament. It's all fantastic. If you have not yet attended this tournament, what are you waiting for? There's going to be another one coming up in 2027, the first weekend of May. Nonetheless, sit down. Hope you enjoy this. And I had a little bit of a snafu when I started recording, so you notice that we are already midway through the conversation. Either way, you know what Darrell's all about. He's been in the show a number of times. The man's a legend. Heck, I'm a legend too. It's in my name. Enjoy. If you do like it, don't forget to like and subscribe.
I went 0-6. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I went 0-6 in my round robin. 4 of the games I lost by 1 goal. 2 of them were in overtime. I know that I was beating Flam Shelter 6-3, and then he scored 3 in the third, and then won an OT 7-6. It was brutal.
It's good to see that you're dominating now in the Sega Genesis realm. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call that dominating, but
you have hardware.
Anyway, yeah, I got a hardware. Is it back there somewhere?
Oh, come on! You're not like that's not the centerpiece of your household.
There it is, right there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That must have been like quite a shocker for you, but you kept going deeper and deeper in that tournament, and you just kept blowing away your competition. So
yeah, I actually thought I was going to lose the final. The guy that I was playing, he was a new player, but I just looked at his 2 scores. His previous 2 scores, he had won 8-2 and 7-2 before he came to me. And those guys that he played, I had beat them to knock them down to the losers bracket, but I only both beat them by 1 goal, and he blew them out. And so I thought to myself, I was like, well, I guess we'll just play and see what happens. But I don't know. I got lucky, and yeah, I think I beat him 5-0.
The new guy, remember his name?
His name was DD.
Yeah, okay. I remember seeing his name on there. So good for him.
Yeah, there was a group
first time out.
First time out. Him and 2 of his buddies. I think they were college buddies. 2 of them came from Virginia, and one of them was, I guess, must be from there, but now he's living in Vancouver, so he flew up from Vancouver.
Oh, right. I met them. Yeah, I remember talking to them. They were saying I'm the guy from Vancouver and the guy from Virginia. So it was a good event, man. Now, honestly, appreciate you putting that on, because that was a phenomenal event, a phenomenal tournament. And I didn't go for the Friday because of family reasons. I couldn't go for the Sunday because of family reasons. But I was in the middle. I was there for Saturday, which was nice. And
yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how things worked on the Friday or the Sunday, but if it was as good as the Saturday.
Well, I mean, Saturday. It was packed. We had close to 60 people, and we had to be very strategic to make sure that it got done on time, and it did. And actually, that was probably the one thing that I got a lot of feedback on from everybody, was that they couldn't believe how well it ran based on the number of people that were there. They said, I think I was Ice Storm said, he goes, it was actually nice to, finish a tournament, walk outside, and it's still daylight. so yeah, that one. So yeah, the Saturday went really well. A Friday night event, I actually think was a lot of fun. I knew going into it that I was expecting that there would probably be some hiccups. It's always like that when I go to a new place to try and organize anything, just because you don't fully know the layout, know where everything is, so you have to kind of go on the fly and just try and get things done. And I tried something this year that I'd always wanted to do, but never really had the time or hadn't planned it well enough to do it. But I did it this year. I called it the Ultimate Sports Gamer. event, and what it was is that we had 3 games, uh, which I had people kind of vote on during registration which sports games they might want to play. And I took the 3 most popular ones, which were ice hockey on the Nintendo, RBI baseball on the Nintendo, and NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo. So the winner, so it was just single elimination. I made the game shorter too, so you weren't playing a whole game. NBA Jam we ran on the fastest time mode so they could finish quicker. The ice hockey we just did a 1 10-minute period,
Mm.
and RBI baseball we did 1 pitcher 4 innings type of thing. So games were, the idea was to try and finish a game in about 8 minutes roughly,
Hmm.
just so that it moved along really well. So then, yeah, DPS won the NBA Jam tournament, which I knew that he would. he's he's probably one of the best NBA Jam tournaments players that that there could be out there. Um, and ice hockey, EA won the ice hockey one at overtime, I think, against Professor. So he
Mm.
destroyed me in game one. I know that it was 7-1 or something like that, maybe 7-2. But yeah, I wasn't. I was pretty much being shut out for most of the game, and then near the end, I scored a couple goals. And then RBI, I managed to win that one. I beat DPS in the final. I think it was 3-1. It was a close game.
Who was your
So then
team? I
so we did it the same way like we do for the King 94, where one guy chooses and the other guy picks the team. I allowed all-star teams just because there's not,
oh.
like, if you're familiar with RBI baseball, there's not a lot of teams in it, and the tier, if I recall correctly, there's like 3 teams at the top, 3 teams in the middle, and then 2 teams at the bottom. So there's not much variety in that game at all. That's why I let the other ones allowed that in. So I end up playing a few of those All Star game matchups because I think they're fairly even. But the final, I think it was, I had Detroit and he had maybe Boston. I don't remember, but yeah. And then after that, so then the three winners, uh, they went into a final, the final challenge to determine who was the sort of the ultimate sports gamer, and it was Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and whoever could get through the first circuit the fastest. So it was me, EA, and DPS. I managed to pull that one out just barely. EA he had actually knocked out Glass Joe faster than I did, so he was ahead of me. But I managed to catch up on the second fighter, which is Von Kaiser, and then Piston Honda. I was kind of playing, and I was like watching his screen and watching my screen, trying to see because he was ahead of me, and then I managed to get Piston Honda down 3 times just before he was about to knock him down. So it was that close. But
And you're
anyways,
cleaning up.
I thought was actually I expected the DPS to win the whole thing, like just because what I know of that guy, he's so good at sports video games, or AJ for that matter. They can just generally pick up a controller and be really good at it. So I felt weird winning the own tournament that I organized. I actually honestly had no thought that I would even win it or win any of them. But anyways, and to be fair too, like I said, these are short games, so I mean anything can happen in a 4 inning game or a 10-minute period or whatever. So they, if you did a best of 3 and they were longer games, I'm sure the better players would have came out on top.
Oh,
So
if I could read between the lines, you rigged it for yourself. So congratulations for doing that and winning.
yeah, I guess I never thought about it that way. that's so funny. Rigged it for myself. So, but yeah, we wanted to keep it short because there were so many things going on the Friday night. There was 2v2 going on that night as well, on the upstairs. Actually, what a lot of people like, the golf simulation. So it was at a place called Bungerville, and I like playing golf. I mean, I'm no golf guru or anything like that, but I enjoy playing it with my son. We go out every Saturday morning. So when I was there hitting balls and hitting the drive, um, then I just thought like, hey, well, why don't we just do a long drive competition? And I didn't get to watch all of it because we had an upstairs and a downstairs. So I was organizing all the tournaments in the basement, and then upstairs were probably where most of the people were, where the 2v2 was happening, and this golf simulator was happening. I guess guys were loving it. There was just everybody was going back and forth. I think Kaze, Spackman, Raf, they were all Sebi. They were all challenging each other, and Raf ended up winning. I think he hit a 269
Wow.
was the top drive. So I think my top drive was 219. So I was well back of the leader. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and um, yeah, I mean it was yeah, I thought it was a good way to bring people together on the Friday night. Um, I know that last year we did it at the Airbnb that I was staying at, but it was very crowded in there. Not a lot of room to move around. So this space, obviously, a lot more room, and yeah, it was fun.
It's coming to a point you're going to be doing it. Looks like next year again on the weekend of May 1st.
Hmm.
Weather can be pretty decent. I mean, you can almost just get a park, get some lights there, and set up some TVs and do it outside, and you just because it's getting to become the good weather at that time of year for Toronto. So you have a lot of options. But in terms of the whole event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you've done this for a number of years. This is your third year you've done it at Free Play.
Hmm.
And what worked better this year than other years?
Uh, well, one thing I wanted to do this year was to get to Toronto early. Um, in previous years, I'm usually showing up late Thursday night, and my brother lets me keep. He lives in Oakville, which is just south of Toronto. I think actually you're from Oakville, aren't you?
I sure am.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, so he lets me keep some of the gear there. But the last 2 years, I think it was Kids Wasted that pointed this out last year. He's like, you got to organize your cables and stuff. Because he was helping out last year, and I don't blame him. The cords, it was just like they were just a mess, and that's because like when the tournament's over, the guys that were helping were just kind of firing it in the
Yeah.
and I was okay with that. I mean, I was getting help, but I didn't have any real time to organize everything. So this year, I got there early. It was on a Thursday. Showed up Thursday morning. Went to my brother's house. I mean, he's working during the day anyway, so I was just I had the whole day to go through all the equipment, sort out all the cables. I realized there was a couple power cords that I needed for the Nintendos, so I ended up buying those later in the day. And so I think that helped a lot. That everything was kind of organized and ready to go. So on the day of for each of those days, the setup went so fast. It was very, very quick. And that was another thing that guys had mentioned. They said they couldn't believe how quickly we got underway um, as part of it. So,
I can say I did help set up on the Saturday morning, and
mhm.
I showed up early, and I was helping, like installing, setting up the consoles and hooking them up to the TVs.
Yeah.
And the way the wiring was done, it was easy to get it.
Mhm.
It was well organized, and it was just simple. It was not tangled. You get it,
Yeah.
install it, and just go to the next one. It was fast.
Yeah, and we also learned from the previous 2 years of how many systems we could actually get set up in there. I'd always been aggressive trying to get 16 in there, but it just doesn't work for space. There especially in that VIP area,
Yeah.
it gets very crowded. So this year we had figured it out that 14 is the maximum that we can do, so that guys can play comfortably because um, I know that last year it was so squished, and then you're trying to walk by somebody to get to your station, and people are playing, and you're bumping into their back, and nobody really wants that to happen when they're trying to play an important game. So so now we know 100% that 14 is the maximum we can do, and then my whole schedule is based around that. So I had the plan in my head, and then you know put it on an Excel sheet and had it all laid out of how the day was going to go. So it made it quite easy to be able to do.
And because you're the guy or one of the guys who are organizing this,
Mhm.
you tend to be your worst critic. You know, when I cook food, for instance, I eat it after, and I always, people like it, but I taste it differently because I made it. So you being part of the team, probably the main cog of all this, what needs improvement, if anything? Because as a bystander, if I'm gonna get played, I love the tournament. I can't see a single thing that could be improved, but you might have a different set of eyes than I do.
Well, so there is so Friday night definitely can be improved as part of the weekend event. There was there was some hiccups on there. The place had some things that it needed to fix, needed to change. Some of it's easy stuff, like like it didn't have paper towel in the bathrooms. I said that can't be a thing. I mean, so guys are using toilet paper to dry their hands off. So, anyways, I gave the guy some candid feedback and said, you need to fix these things if you want us to come back there next year. And so he took it to heart. And I didn't post a review. I was going to post a negative review just on the place. Some of it was good, but a lot of it there was some things that needed to be improved. And so he took it to heart. And I think, and he's just a young guy, right? Thought he's a young entrepreneur. I don't want to bash him on a review. So I gave him the opportunity in a private message to look at those things. So that's an area that, from that standpoint. Now, on the tournament itself, I think there's some ways that maybe I can make it even better, because I think there's going to be more people that will want to come next year, and I'm always torn of, do I cap the amount, or do I try and stretch it a little bit out? And my preference is always to stretch it. If we can get new people to play, I always think that's a great thing. And so what it will involve is more games being played on Friday night. So that will be part of the. Smaz and I already talked about it, and so that'll be part of the the registration. One of the registration questions, are you willing to play some of your group games on Friday night? I mean, you don't have to play all of them, but the more that you can play, that will ease the burden on Saturday. And this was the first year that I did it. I played all 6 of my games Friday night, and it made my Saturday go so much better, because I was able to jump on the stream for a bit while our regular commentators were playing. And then I was able to be available, because a lot of times when I'm playing, people also have questions. And so then sometimes I have to stop what I'm doing, answer the questions, or deal with something, and then go back to playing. And so that can be very disruptive. And so this way I was available for all of it. And so I was walking around, I was talking to everybody, people are asking questions, well, the newer guys mostly. Just sometimes it's just about rules or clarification on team picking or whatever it is. So so it was good to be able to do that. And I spent some time doing some social media, and of course handed out all the door prizes that were won. I did that during that time as well. So that was really good. And I said to Smoz as well, it's like, you know what, I think the both of us are going to have to try and play as much as we can on Friday night, because it just makes things so much better when we're available to help out. And especially with the stream, like if Smoz is playing and it goes down, then he has to stop what he's doing
Yeah.
and go fix it. So those are the things that we're looking at next year. I even contemplated, I think we tried it once before, of putting the Auto-Goalie later in the afternoon, because as probably at about 2 o'clock is when you start to see systems start to free up a bit, because guys are getting eliminated at that point, and then we don't need as many consoles to play. So the further you move along, as you know, we start packing them up. So I think that I can't remember why we went back to the way it was, but anyways, that's something I'm considering for next year, is moving the Auto-Goalie into the middle of the afternoon, because it's a shorter tournament,
Yeah.
so it can still get done within the time that free play allows us to be there. So those are some of the things that, at least early on in my head, are things that I think can help improve the weekend. I did do every year I do a survey. I send it out to people, and this year we got over 30 responses, which is average
Mhm.
for each year that I've done it, and had a lot of good feedback. Most people just said, you know, it's like I don't know, like they were like trying to find something wrong with it and they couldn't. So it was nice to
Exactly.
hear. Nice to hear those ones.
Yeah.
Some people had some suggestions about the format. We like the format. Not going to make any changes there. We like the rules. Not going to make any changes there. Or at least have no plans to. So.
So in totality, how many people did show up? You say you got 30 responses back. Is that like
Oh,
usually?
total for the weekend, I think, because some guys played twice, or like the dual console players. I think it was around 80, if I
It's
remember
almost
correctly.
half.
Yeah, and then there was, I think we had 20 new players, or 20 new players to the tournament. So some of the guys we knew, like Lego, he's an online guy, and but like a lot of, I mean, all the auto goalie groups for both sides, I think were all new players, pretty much. So that was nice. And then we had a few new players join King. But the one thing I like about the auto goalie, and I know it's always kind of been a question of whether we should keep doing it or not. I find that every year that we do it, the people that play in it, there's always some of them that say, next year I'm coming and I'm going to go into King. And that's the point of it. That's the point of it, of getting people to come and then looking at the rest of us and saying, you know what, I think I can actually compete with some of these guys and play in the King tournament. So, you know, it's funny too. I use you as an example to these newer players. I don't know if you knew that or not. I
No.
said, look, I said, you come to this tournament. I said, Len over there, he went 1-5 in his first year, and then the last 2 years he's made it to the King bracket. So I said, and he just started playing in this tournament 3 years ago. So I said, and he was a new player. I said, so you know,
Yeah, if a jabroni like me could do
new
it.
players can move up. You know, if you were good back in the day, sometimes it just takes some. You know, you might have to play online a bit too, practice a bit, and get better. But I said you were a perfect example of that. So because it's also trying to just instill some fun and also instill a little bit of confidence in new people that are coming, so that they don't just feel like they're coming in and like get blown out. But when they play in the auto goalie, which is I would say lesser skilled overall tournament, it gives them a pretty good idea of what they can do for next year if they want to come back.
Yeah, and so the auto goalie tournament, well, let's go to the new players that you said around 20 new players signed up this year. Is that
Hmm.
the most that in the past few years that new players?
Yes. Oh, yeah. In recent memory, I mean, if you exclude probably the first two, maybe
Yeah.
first two or three, where it was still fairly new. Because well, the first two or three, we also all went to different cities. One was in Toronto, and then we went to Vegas, and got new players, and then we went to Vancouver and got a bunch more new players. Pardon me. But since we've been in Toronto, yes, that has been the most new players that we've gotten. And I've just like I did pay a little bit for some advertising on Facebook. That helped attract some new guys. Some guys said, "Oh yeah, they." He goes, "I didn't see the ad, but a buddy of mine sent it to me because I used to play out all the time." I was like, "Well, that's great." So I felt that was worth it because I had spent advertising money before and I didn't wasn't seeing the benefit of it. This year, I think I did.
Nice.
So so it was worth it.
I want
Yeah.
to stick on the auto goalie tournament just for a moment. Now, next year, you're contemplating moving it later in the day just because of logistics, that there would be some availability of
It,
consoles and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah. Like I think if we want to expand the King tournament, then we have to like how do we do that? You
Mhm.
only have so many consoles, you only have so much time. So you need to find time somewhere. And that is an area that I've identified that we could find time in the morning
Now,
by giving us back two consoles for round robin games
if that
and doing the
happens,
Friday night.
are are they gonna get streamed? Especially, I'm not sure if they get it right now. The finals get streamed, but will that be an
Oh,
opportunity to?
sorry, auto goalie streamed?
Yeah.
No, we don't put auto goalie on the stream.
Now next year, would that give an opportunity if you're going to be shifting things around? No.
No, no.
Ah, too bad. I
No,
want to give
I
some.
we want all the as much as possible the king bracket to be on
Got it.
stream. And
Got it.
I also think too, like you pay more for the king bracket, so it should be tougher competition. You should have a chance to get better prizes, which obviously the cash is the big one there, and then and things like being on the stream that should be available to you as well. So paying less, the auto goalies to bring people in, from my perspective. There, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
you're running it, so you could do whatever you want to do.
Mm.
This is your tournament. Well, you're part of the team that runs it, so however you think is best, that's cool with me. Now, the groups that you're going to be setting up next year, and you were saying that there's going to be a possibility to seeing if people are available to play Friday night just to ease the.
Mhm.
Are you going to be setting up groups then, almost based on availability on Friday night?
Uh, yes and no. So, like, I wouldn't do an entire group based on a Friday night. Why? Because it's probably unlikely that some new players would want to do that. But if there were new players that were willing to do that, then yeah, I could do that. Because the idea is we still have to balance the groups. That's the most important thing. Okay, so I wouldn't have an unbalanced group on a Friday night just because I thought it was easier. No, no, no. Well, I wouldn't do that. But if I thought that like Smaz and I could play like maybe 4 games or 5 games on Friday night against some of the tougher components, and then we play just 1 or 2 games the next day, that would be helpful. And I also think it's like I get a lot of people that say to me, it'd be nice if the tournament started later. It would be nice if it started later. Unfortunately, free play is very adamant about the 7 o'clock cutoff. I've tried to negotiate a later time, but they've allocated that for other reasons because of events that they do, or on those Friday and Sundays, or sorry, on Saturdays and Sundays and Fridays, I guess too. So that's not an option. But I thought to myself, like, if you wanted to play on Friday and get some of your games, then you could come in later on Saturday, and I would just give you time, like I don't know, maybe 15 minutes for every game that you played on Friday night. That's how much later you can show up on Saturday, essentially. So I'm just spitballing here,
Sure.
but that would be an idea, and I think maybe some guys would want to do that because I think some guys just like to sleep in later, and if they know that they can show up 45 minutes later, hour later, and just because they played 4 games Friday night, then maybe they would go for that. And there's lots of space at that Bunkerville if that's where we decide to go back to. I'd like to go back there, provided that as I mentioned, some of those things that I discussed with the guy earlier are fixed, because there's lots of room. We had 30 people there, and lots of space upstairs and downstairs.
Now, you're talking a lot of Sega because you're having some of those Sega games played on the Friday,
Hmm.
but not you. It seems like you're not mentioning anything about Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo is going to be strictly on one day.
Well, so I would offer it for Super Nintendo on a Friday night too. The thing is
Ah,
that uh, that would probably only be for like some of the dual players that might be interested in playing Friday night as well. Because otherwise, those other guys they're not getting in until Saturday. So they're not going to be there Friday. Uh, I would offer it for both. I would just assume that probably less Super Nintendo guys would want to play on Friday night. And this year with Super Nintendo, I actually thought we were going to have less than last year. We ended up having like one more, I think, than last year, just near the end because like 4 or 5 guys signed up in the last 48 hours. So, um, but Super Nintendo actually ran extremely well. I don't know. We must have been done by 5:30, 6 o'clock, because we had half as many. Well, just what was it, 35 guys, so almost half as many as Sega, and we had the same amount of consoles. So you can imagine how much faster it moved. We kind of blazed through it pretty quickly, which was good. And so Super Nintendo, I'm certainly less concerned about um, you know that being a problem of any kind.
now in terms of like an upper limit, it seems like this is a growing tournament. More people are going to probably join next year. Is there a
I hope
limit? You're going
so.
to say,
I hope
well,
so.
it should, right? I mean, everybody's doing their part to spread the word, and
Hmm.
people seem to enjoy this. If this is nostalgic for people, people have some time, some money to travel and whatnot. But what is the upper limit in terms of how many people in your mind
Mm,
can join this tournament?
that's a good question. I don't know yet.
So we haven't even explored that.
If I like, okay, so the way we did it was 60 players. We started at 10, we finished at 7. It was like that was the perfect day, I guess, and it basically told me that you can't really do much more than that. So if we were to increase it, I mean, we're not talking huge numbers here, but it's like every year you have some attrition, but then you get more new players. So uh, maybe 70. If I think about if the auto goalie moved in the afternoon, then I have two more stations. I can get another group of 8 players in there, maybe 10. Evened out across all the consoles. So that's probably where the peak would be.
And does that equate to one more round? And then once you qualify to Puke,
It could. It could, depending on how many numbers get in. But yeah. And then again, like if I got to where it was capped on Saturday, I would just probably have to tell some people, if you want to be in, you got to play on Friday night. We've maxed out what we can do right now. So then if they wanted to play on, because the playoffs are a little bit easier to get through once the round robin is done. That was actually another thing that went really well. I heard a lot of feedback about that, about the time between the round robin and the playoffs. Smoz and I kind of made it a goal to shorten that dramatically. And it wasn't anything difficult. It was just to execute it, which is have all the round robin scores done by the time the last game is done, and have them all double checked by the time the last game is done. Because then he's so good at it now. Smoz is just he gets all things, he puts it in an Excel sheet, and then he just makes the adjustments as needed based on whatever the tiebreakers are, and then boom, they're right into the bracket, and I'm starting to announce them. So it's always important to me to make sure that the scores and everything are correct. Like I like to have it double checked either by myself or somebody else double check someone else's work. And we did catch a couple of errors, like, and then usually it's just because somebody inverts the score. Like say you beat me 6-1, but somebody put it in that I won 6-1. That can happen. So we look at the sheet, and then we look at the how it was input. So we caught one error this year. So that was good, because obviously that's the difference of maybe moving into one bracket or not moving into one bracket. So those things are important to me, and I think it went so well this year to transition between round robin and playoffs.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I can tell you from my experience, the round robin, it was go, go, go. Like you play, you get out, next guy takes the console. Once they finish, you go back in. So there was really almost no downtime. And then once it went from round robin to,
well, there should have been some downtime in Sega, because you would have only had 2 consoles and 8 guys in your group.
it was
So
just
there should have
constant.
always been, you should have always had at least one break. I don't know if that's what you're saying or not.
Well,
but yeah, like so if you play, then you should have had a break, and then you play again, and then on average, yeah.
It just felt like you're always on the go, which was what you wanted, right? There was no like, you had to wait. What am I doing? Once it was just, you have to hang around here, because in a few minutes you're gonna be playing again.
Right. Okay.
And
yes. That's
it was
right.
just, it was constant. Like it felt like to me, it was not in reality, but it was close to, like when I showed up there after everything started, you're playing almost, felt like constantly, but not quite. But like there's so many games you got to get in. You get 6 games in a round robin, and you go into the tournament and just keep playing, and it was well run in that respect. And that there was, you weren't just twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah, and we wanted to have a little bit of Smiles and I. We wanted to have a little bit of that separation, because I know that guys like to watch other guys' games. It's the one thing that happens a lot, and I think probably in some cases some guys would wish they could watch more games instead of playing. So I'm like, well, you're here to play, but I get what you're saying. So I think that was one of the things I wanted to do this year was to at least give some more flexibility that uh, you had time to watch somebody else if you wanted to, or you could watch the games of your opponents that you're about to play if you wanted to. Probably not so much with Super Nintendo because we did have a lot of, I mean, some groups, there was only one guy sitting out every 15 minutes, where instead of like the four in Sega, because there was just less players and more consoles. So maybe a little bit less in that era, but anyways, that was one of the things we wanted to accomplish for this year, and I think we did it really well.
And if I could throw one suggestion, yeah, you should give a prize out to the person that signs up first, because I believe I was the one that did it this year.
Were you? I don't
Yeah.
remember. You know what's funny? Usually it's Corbett. I think two or three times he's been the first one. Tecmo John's he's usually one of the first couple, but you were first this year. That's good.
Yeah, I want a prize for that. So I'm not kidding. Let's.
Well, that's part of one of those tiebreakers. I don't know if you knew that
Yeah.
or not, but
You didn't mention that.
and we've implemented. I mean, over the 10 years, I think it's been implemented like maybe 4 times total, but it has come into play.
It's so rare. The reason why
yeah.
I did it, it's because we have an inside joke over here where we sign up for tennis every year, and whoever signs up first, it's bragging rights, and it's just, you sign up at 12:01 midnight when it opens up for registration, and you get to brag for the rest of the year. But the scheduling, I know it's scheduled again for 2027, the weekend of May 1, 2.
Yeah, April 30th, Friday night,
April.
then Sega Saturday, May 1, and then Sunday, Super Nintendo, May 2.
I want to go back to the Friday games, the Friday schedule. If you had your way, what would be the games, the games you want to see played? Because this year we had NES hockey, we had RBI baseball NES, and NBA Jam Tournament Edition. But if you had your way, which are the 3 games you want to see played on Friday?
Whew. I always had the idea of doing a 16-bit NHL EA. So playing mini tournaments from every single Sega hockey game. 92, 93, probably skip 94 because that's the weekend, then 95, 96, 97, 98. And then all have them come together and play Mutant League hockey in the playoffs.
That's like a really good idea.
That would be something that I want to do. But like when I ask people post a feedback of what they want to play, a couple of guys mentioned it, other NHL hockey games. It was very diverse in the amount of games that people wanted to play. So yeah. I get the sense that maybe GoldenEye might be it's not a sports game, but a lot of people seemed interested in it. So
have you played GoldenEye lately?
Have I played it lately? Like on the 64?
Yeah.
Well, I probably played it like 2 or 3 months ago when my son and I have it at home. I got 4 controllers. That game I played a ton of that. So I'm pretty sure I've unlocked everything. So.
We played it not too long ago, and it just, for me, it didn't age well. Like, wow, this thing is just rough to play.
You know, and maybe, yeah, you could be right. I'll say this, like I haven't played it in a 4-player setting. It's probably college was the last time I played in a 4-player, so well over 25 years ago. But it seemed like there was a lot of interest in it. But anyways, like when I do the registration, I'll put that game in there, and we'll just see what kind of interest people give it. So if it's an overwhelming favorite, then why not? I mean,
people want it.
People there to have fun, and I have a console. I'm sure that there's probably someone else that at least has a console in the game that could bring some controllers, so you would have 2, and then that would be part of the evening for Friday.
No, this
games, anyways.
A tough question that you can answer, but who can beat anybody? Who could beat AJ? Who is that person? Nobody, right? Like he's just an absolute machine, eh?
And well, I think Super Nintendo, Prop is still there. He beat him, but the games were close. Prop actually mercied him one game. So actually, he mercied him the only game that he beat him in. But in Sega, I, you know,
it's stupid funny to watch
well,
him
like
play. He just dominates.
Raph has historically had the most success against him in live tournaments, but I don't think they met last year in the playoffs. They certainly didn't meet this year in the playoffs. So I mean, if there's anyone I think that uh, could challenge him, because I mean, like Scribe was in the finals
2 years
twice,
ago.
two, 2022 and 2023, and then Kaze 24 and 25.
Yeah.
So we've only had 3 finalists in 4 years, which is kind of remarkable when you think about it. Um, and but I would say, like, when I look historically, Raph's the only one to beat him twice for the championship, and but I mean,
I know.
he's just like, when I say to everybody, as this, like, this game, when you're playing 5 minute periods, anything can happen, and there's always the opportunity to pull off an upset in one game. But he's been going runs of 16-0. I think he's done it twice in the last 4 years, and the other two times he lost once. So his record's probably like around 60 something and 2 losses. That's, to me, it's remarkable. It's incredible to go on that kind of run. And I mean, this year I went back and looked at the stats. He mercied 6 people. Sorry,
I
10
was
people.
one.
10 out of the
I was one.
16.
Yeah.
And then the remaining 6 games, 4 of them were 3-goal spread or more, and then the other 2 were 1-goal games. So I mean, the only way it seems like you could ever really beat him, uh, you basically have to hold him to like 1 or 2 goals. That's
It's
about it.
impossible.
Which
That's
is,
just
it seems like it's an extremely hard thing to do, and he's done this so many times. Because I mean, when you're playing this, like, mentally, you can't let things get to you. You know, if somebody scores a big goal and takes the lead and does a loud fist pump or whatever in your ear, you have to kind of find a way to tune that out and just go right back at it. And that guy's got it figured out. And I saw one comment. It was just on Twitter today, actually. Uh, one of the guys I know who's a really good player from Edmonton. I've been trying to get him to come back, but he saw it. He saw my post about the recap of the tournament, and he goes, like, is anybody ever going to beat him?
no.
So
It's gonna. You know, I had a
there's
chance
something
to
about
talk to him.
Toronto. Yeah, I was gonna say there's something about him playing in Toronto.
Oh, come on. He could be anywhere in the world. He could be in Bali and still dominate.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
just give him a
yeah,
controller.
I don't know how well he's done in some of the, like, I thought somebody told me that he lost in Minnesota once or twice to Raph, maybe. So, and then well, and then I think he's won everyone in Chicago, I'm sure, but and he certainly won the ones that I had in Saskatoon.
It's disgusting how good he is.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. And I had a chance. I chatted with him before the tournament started on Saturday, before the round robin started on Saturday. He just, I had a few minutes to chat with him about, pass shots, goalie control, and stuff like that. But I asked him one question, and the answer he gave was scary. The question I asked him, are you still getting better or have you peaked? And without batting an eye, he says, I'm still improving. So when I walked away, I said, man, this guy's just too good. Like, he just to watch him play. I've watched him play enough.
He's got a mental book on every player.
Yeah,
so
he sure does.
He knows every player.
But he doesn't even need that.
Sorry, when I say player, I'm not just talking about in the game, which he also knows that. I'm talking about his opponents. He's
He doesn't
gonna.
he doesn't
Gonna.
even need that. He can just go up against a rando and still absolutely, because the when you watch, I think, and I've watched him play and I've played against him, he's level-headed. He's so cool. He never gets flustered. When
No,
the puck, like when something happens and it's something that's you don't expect,
he doesn't show
other
any
people are
emotion either. That's why I call him the 1980s Soviet Union hockey player. Maybe
He's so good.
maybe 1970s. No emotion, all skill.
He's so good. Now, I guess I got one last question I'm going to ask you, I'm kind of, angry with you because why didn't you wear the shirt and tie for the Sega Genesis day? You wore it for the Super Nintendo. I feel like it's, backstabbed us all in this Sega Genesis camp. I'm just kidding, brother.
I think because last year didn't I wear it for second? I
I
thought
think
that I
you did.
did.
I think
Yeah,
you did.
so
But
I
either way,
mentioned
I'm just poking fun.
I've got a lot of like I didn't even wear my Whalers one shirt, which I really like. I've got a bunch of different shirts, but yeah, the Philly crew brought me a shirt. Actually, they sent it to me in the mail, so had to had to wear that one for them. That was their last year's shirt. They gave me another one this year, and they said every time they'll come, I'll get another shirt. Apparently, so I've already got a lot of shirts in my closet already, but these ones I really like.
There were less Philly guys this tournament than last year,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, because of the date change.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, they already had. I think two or three of them already had weddings that they were going to. Yeah, so it fell on that weekend, so they couldn't make it. But it's kind of funny. Like I reached out to them just a couple days ago. We were just texting with some of them, and so they blocked out their calendar. So I think we'll get at least the five. I'll say the core five coming back next year. But we'll see. I mean, never say with certainty. But I love those guys. Those guys they're such a fun group, and
Yeah,
and
they are.
they really enjoy the tournament, and so it's nice to have them come back.
And they high five each other when they win a game. Like it's a group, and they're like they bring a lot of positive energy to the
Yeah,
table. So it's
and wasn't
Darrell.
this year? This was your highest finish ever, wasn't it? Didn't you
I made it
finish
to
in
the
the
Puke
top?
final one year. Don't discount
No.
that, man.
Oh no. This is better than that. This is better than that. You were in the winner's side semis, which means you at least finished top six.
I
Or
got
did you make it to top
demolished.
four?
No,
No. Okay. So
I got
when you dropped down, who did you lose to?
Anatar.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
AJ smoked me, and then I lost to Anatar,
so
who
so
absolutely obliterated me.
your ranking is gonna go whoop.
Uh,
I don't know
do
what
I
you're
get?
ranked right now, but you're definitely going up.
Are people gonna ask for autographs and stuff? Because that's really what I
I hope
want to.
so.
That's what I hope so too. Now, Darrell, we've been at this for we're getting close to an hour. Anything else we haven't touched on? You want to just touch base on, because I want to make sure you cover all topics before we sign.
Uh yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, it was nice to kind of go through the feedback that people gave me this year, and a lot for the most part, a lot of it was just minor stuff. Like just like some people would just say, you know what, honestly, I don't know if I would change anything, but maybe you might want to consider trying this or something, along those lines. So that was good. Actually, the one guy who I really like, EA, he always gives some
Yeah.
detailed feedback. He writes like a he writes like a long list of the whole weekend of everything that he loved about it, and then some suggestions of what he thinks that maybe we could change. And so I it was he actually said to me, because I called him, because I was just I said, hey, I'd like to go through all these points that you've made, And I feel bad, like I'm ripping into you or doing you like you think I'm doing something wrong. I was like, no, that is, dude, these are like nothing. Like I appreciate when people give me candid feedback because if you don't, I will never know. And so yeah, so I mean, basically we do that. I put everything in a nice Excel sheet chart, and Smiles and I we put notes on everything and on any ideas that we think will make it better, then we just implement them for next year. And that happens. Like a lot of the guys that have given feedback, we've taken some of those ideas and have put them back in. I know that I can't think of which ones off the top of my head, but for sure. Um, and sometimes they're just little things, just little tweaks here and
Yeah.
there.
I wish you luck trying to improve this because I only been to the last 3, so I have that's really the extent of my experience for this. And
Mhm.
every year it's gotten better and better. It's not like monumentally better. Like the first one was great, but the second one was a little bit better. The third one was even a little bit better. I wish you luck to finding a way to improve on that because anybody that's gonna just send negative feedback, they're lying. Flat out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there I mean, I don't want to commit to anything, but there could be some pretty cool things happening next year.
Oh, very cool. I look
Some
forward to that. But if it's
I've,
status
I've had
quo,
I've had some conversations with a few people, but like until I actually have something concrete, I don't want to say anything to just you know bring it up and spoil it. But I'm hoping that these things happen because it will be really awesome. But
we have to wait another
it's gonna
11
it's
months
gonna
and 1
feel a
week.
lot. It's gonna feel a lot longer now because it's. I mean, what was this one? 8 months, right? When was the last
Yeah.
one? September. So three. Yeah, it was about 7 months, 7 and a half, which
Yeah.
isn't a long time. It actually felt like the other one just happened yesterday, but now we actually have a 12-month wait for the next one. So,
But the last one just happened just 3 weeks ago.
sorry, I meant like between 2025 and 2026. It was only
Yeah.
about. It felt like it was yesterday between those, even though
Yeah.
like, it was 7.5 months. It just felt like it was. We were just there to me, anyways.
Yeah.
Um, and now, anyways, now we got a 12
A
month
long wait
wait.
ahead.
So
Dude, this
it'll
has
be
been
fun.
fun. Yeah, this has been I appreciate all your efforts in getting the tournament up and running. You do a great job. You and Smaz do an awesome job at doing it. And
Are you doing rapid fire or is that gone?
no, you've done your rapid fire. You've done I have no pucks to feed you anymore.
I,
I
I just
have
like I just like rapid fire. That was my favorite.
I have 2 people ready to come on, and I got rapid fire set up for those gentlemen. So you're gonna
Oh,
hear them.
actually, that reminds me. That is one thing that somebody had suggested that I am going to implement. They wanted They wanted to see more videos on people that are in the tournament to get to know more about them. And I was like, I'm going to start putting your links on our page so that people can watch your interviews that you've done with many of the community members that we have so that they can get to know them better. I know that not all your conversations are like game based and tournament based. A lot of them are sometimes more around ROM creation or hacking and those kinds of things as well. But yeah, I thought that was a good suggestion from that person to want to see more of that, more videos on how to be better at the game. So I don't think I have enough on our site about that.
Well, some
And
inside baseball here is that I'm taking a break from league play for the next little while, and I'm going to be focusing on more on just general 94 content because I've
hmm,
done a lot of league play in the past few years, and I'm just I'm just going to take a break from that for the time being, and because I've been doing so much league, I put everything else kind of on a back burner. But it's just so much. It's been I have just a little bit of inside baseball here. I got 25 ish, maybe more videos that I want to put out. I have these ideas. I just need a time
for
just
baseball or for
for
NHL.
for for NHL, man.
Oh,
For NHL, like the very next one I have is ranking all the goalies. in NHL 94.
Oh, okay.
I
Nice.
I just need the time to. I have this spreadsheet done. I've queried people. I've talked to high level players. I've done everything. I've done all the homework. I just have to sit down and do it. But because now I'm not going to do some league play for the next little while, I'll have time to do it. Plus, more interviews, more chats.
I love your Twitter account. You post a lot of awesome stuff on there.
And you can see when I'm busy, I don't post very much.
It's
but
my
when I'm
favorite.
not,
It's my favorite account.
it's good to hear. And it's all vintage
NHL 94 podcast. I like that a lot of times some people will tag us both.
Yeah,
they want to talk about it.
I absolutely love the community.
Makes me nice that I get to feel included with you.
I was thinking the same thing because again, I'm just a jabroni in the grand scheme of things.
No, you post a lot of good stuff on there. So I used to do that a lot. Now I'm much more infrequent, I guess is probably the best word. So,
and I'm going to be expanding on Facebook too. I finally got back on Facebook so I could get some exposure there as well, because that's, I guess, the last bastion of social media I haven't touched yet. That's coming up. But
well, we have a Facebook group that I run. So why don't you? Well, I guess it's up to you, but I mean, you could use that. There's probably a couple thousand people in there. I'm sure that they would love to watch your stuff.
I have tons to post. Every day I post something. Every day there's a video that a clip or something. So I try to keep things fresh as much as possible. But
yeah.
Darrell, this has been fun. Hope you enjoyed this one.
I did. It's always a pleasure, Len. I love what you do. You're so undervalued, I think, in the community. I try and tell people about you all the time, how much you do for us.
Every team needs a fourth liner.
People don't know how much you do for us. Like I was like, he puts so much content about NHL 94 on Twitter and then links it back to the online community. And in several of his tweets, or whatever you call them now, posts. I don't even know what X they're called, but anyways, yeah. So I mean, hey, from me and everybody else, we appreciate what you're doing for the community.
Dude, it's fun. It's fun. I hope we could just cast a bigger net and get more people involved and just make this tournament.
That's all it is.
Success already, but you know what? There's a lot of people that love the game.
Keep doing it. Keep making it fun. And people will want to come.
100%. All right, brother. That's it for me. That's it for you.
That's it for me.
That's it, man. All right, brother.
Have a good night.
Catch you later.